Looking for a way to get healthy? The Chef You and I program has the answer. Kathryn, Raaker, and chefs from around the nation will teach even the most inexperienced how to cook. Come into their kitchen and watch them take ordinary foods with loads of calories and fat and turn those foods into healthier dishes. You will be the first to get tips and ideas on foods that are easy to prepare. Now let's join Kathryn and today's chef and learn how to make today's recipes.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of the Chef You and I. And today we have an Asian delight entree as well as a wonderful Asian salad. And then to top it all off, we have a mango dessert that is to die for. It's made with pearl tapioca. So the first thing that we're going to do tonight is we are going to actually make the dessert first, because it takes a little while to get cold, and we want to serve it cold. So the first thing that we are doing is we are boiling a large pot or medium pot of water, and we're turning it on high, and it's almost there. So we are ready to put it in, and we're gonna let this is a half a cup of tapioca pearls, and see how small they are? So the camera needs to see how tiny these pearls are. And they're going to get, when we boil them, you want to boil them long enough and let them sit until they're almost transparent. So you won't be able to see them as white. They'll be clear, okay? So that's the first thing we're doing. So we are going to put these in here right now, which we just did. And we're going to turn it down to medium heat for 8 minutes. And then we're going to cover it. So that's medium. And I'm going to set this on to cook the timer for 8 minutes. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to peel the mangoes. And we're going to peel the mangoes, cut off the flesh. Okay, so we're going to peel these first, and then it takes a little while to peel them. And the other thing we want to talk about tonight is what our main dish is, and that is going to be pho. And pho is an Asian wonderful soup. It's, and actually I have a lot of restaurants here where I live, and we have a lot of Chinese, Vietnamese, Asian restaurants here, Thai restaurants. And the wonderful thing about this is really a delicious dessert. And it's made with coconut milk and condensed milk. And it's a sweet condensed milk because you want to have it to be really nice. So this just takes a little while to cut, or not, to peel. So we're going to peel these two. And then when the 8 minutes is up, we're going to cover it, and it'll get translucent and you'll be able to see it. So then you're going to put everything together, right? And so these are nice size mangoes. You could do this with canned mangoes if you wanted to. Might have been, but I think it's not as pretty. So this is cool. It's not really that hard to do. Then we're going to have an Asian salad with kind of a Benihana dressing, which I don't know, a lot of people have, been to Benihana's and they love the salad and they love the ginger dressing. So I have something that's close to it, so I thought you'd enjoy that. So there's one, and I'm going to take these peels and put them in here. And so once you get this peeled, you can put it aside because you're going to cut it, because they're going to be some of the mango is going to be in the dessert and others are going to be on top of it. So it'll make enough for 4 people, but we're going to save, you can save some of this and store it, which is great. And the actual tapioca is called sago. And I've had it before. A friend of mine that comes and is on our show actually is from the Philippines, and she's made it. And it's really delicious. So I thought I'd, try it for our show and see how easy it was to do. And I made pho last night, and it turned out really nice. And we're going to use beef and shrimp in this one. And it's really a soup. Pho is a soup, and it doesn't take long to make, which I found out. So we have 2 of these, right? And we're going to, in a minute, take a break because we're going to wait for the tapioca to actually finish. Really? Already 8 minutes? That's wild. So we're going to be right back after these messages on The Chef, You and I. We're back on The Chef, You and I, and now what we're going to do with our mango and our coconut milk and condensed milk. So you need, like I said, 2 large mangoes. Now, we've already cut up 2 large, no, we've cut more than just that. We're going to put in, since they're so large, we're going to put this in, and then the rest of it we're going to use to put on the top of the dessert when it's finished. So what you want to do is you want to take your mango and you want to take it and put it into this blender along with the the milk, which is a condensed milk and coconut milk. Okay, and you're going to get it to a point where it is actually smooth, a smooth puree. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our half a cup of coconut milk and a quarter cup, which I mixed into this, of condensed milk, sweet condensed milk. So you don't have to put any sugar in this because the condensed milk is sweet, right? And so that's what you're doing. So we're done with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on, shut it down, and then there's the pouring thing afterwards. So we're going to pulse this. We're going to do that one more time because I just want to look at this to see what it looks like. And it looks like a puree to me. Pretty nice, actually. Let's do it one or 2 more times. Okay, I think that's enough. Now, what we want to do is cut the rest of the mango up into little square pieces because we're going to put that on the top of the dessert. So, the next thing we're going to do, as soon as the tapioca is clear or translucent, we are going to look at it in a minute, and then we're going to strain it in a sieve, very fine, right here, a sieve. We're going to, and I'll see how fine that is because you don't want the pearls to go through it. You want it to be strained, okay? And then you're going to put water on it to make it clear, okay? So that's the next thing we're going to do. So we're going to wait to see. I'm going to look at I want to see how many more minutes. We've got a couple more minutes, but let me look at it right now anyhow and see if they are translucent yet. Let's see. They are translucent. Look at that. You can see right through them. And they're going to be really pretty when we strain these in the strainer. And I'll give it another, let's give it another, minute or 2, and then we'll do that. But in the meantime, what we can do is we can cut up the rest of our mango since we have that done. So we're finished with this. And I bet this is going to taste really awesome. I've had this before when somebody else made it, and it was so good. So you're going to love it. I did. And so we're going to cut this up into cubes. There we go. That's one. So you want to put 4 or 5 of them on top of the dessert you're putting like. And it's a pudding like, which is really, it's really a healthy one that you're going to really enjoy. And actually I'll make this smaller. And I love mango. I don't know if you do or not, but it's delicious. And I could eat mango all day long. And if you've ever been to the islands, you'll get a lot of those wonderful mangoes and so many other things. I don't know. I just love fruit. So this would be enough. This would be right here enough to put on, or maybe 4 or 5 of these to put on top of the dessert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a bowl with a little bit of water so they're good. Okay, that tells us it's done. Okay, so what we're going to do in a minute is strain it. This is pretty easy to do. Just cut it up and put those in, and then you're going to put it on top of the pudding that you're going to put into some really pretty glasses with the wonderful tapioca. And it's not like, it's not like the kinds that you get in a package. It's different than that. And you can get bigger tapioca pearls as well. But for this dessert, it said, I need these to do that. I need smaller ones. So here these are, and they're going to be sitting right over here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to strain our tapioca into this right here. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages on The Chef You and I. We're back now, and we're putting the pearls into the wonderful tapioca and mango mix. And so you can see when you look at this, in just a minute I'm going to add more. So you can see what it looks like with the tapioca. And then when it gets a little hard in the refrigerator, you're going to add the chunks, the mango chunks to it. See what it looks like? I'll show you. The camera's going to get that for you. Now what I'm going to do is do the same thing with the next couple of ones. So you take the pearls, put them in there. We're going to divide them up in a minute. I'm going to put 4. So you have 4. And this tastes delicious. I got to tell you, I just tasted it. It's really good. And so we have enough of these for 4 glasses. So you just double the recipe if you're going to make it for more people. So you'll see how this goes. All right. And that one. All right. Okay, so I'm going to pour this in. See how smooth that is? And then you can add milk to it, which I did. All right. All right. I'm going to get something real quick to get it all out. So just take your spatula, go in here and get all of this. And you can add more milk to it. That's the nice thing about this. Your kids are going to love this. And then I'll wipe all the little mistakes I make. It's not a big deal here. And then when you put the chunks in, when you put the chunks of the mangoes in, it'll look really pretty because this is going to harden like tapioca or any pudding would. That's cool. Didn't take us long to do that. I'll add some more of the pearls to it, and I'll stir it, and then you'll see them in here. That looks really nice. And then, let's see, you have more here. I think your family will really like this. And like I said, you can add more milk to it, and it looks really nice now. This one, okay. I need to get a cloth here. All right, just a second. Okay. I just don't want it to look on the side. Okay, let's mix this. That looks nice. Just get all of those pearls. Now that wasn't hard to do at all. I think everybody could make this recipe pretty easily. This one really shows them right here. And I'll get more in there in all of them. Right. So you got a lot of pearls still here. So it looks like a really pretty dessert, and then just clean it up like I'm doing. And then you're going to put the chunks in it as soon as this hardens a little bit. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator, or we want to get it cold, right? And we're going to do that. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back on the Chef You and I, and we're going to make our pho next. We're back on the Chef You and I, and we're making our entree, which is pho bo, Vietnamese beef and noodle soup. And this soup is a shortened version of pho, normal pho, because a lot of normal pho takes 3, 4, 6 hours. It all depends upon what you're using. And in the Vietnamese version, you do the marrow and you do the beef and all that, and that takes a long time. So what we have already done is we've already put into a pan of water rice noodles, and I'm going to show this to you what they look like right now so the camera can look at this. That's what they look like right now. And they're soaking in there for about 30 minutes, and I put them in hot water. And when that 30 minutes is up, we have around 12 to go, and I will then boil them for like 1 or 2 minutes, okay? But let's put them back here on the stove. And I've covered them to keep them hot, okay? But you don't want to boil them. That's the thing. So 4 ounces of dry rice stick noodles. And I measured it on my weight scale exactly. I'm going to give you the ingredients for pho, beef pho. So it's 4 ounces of dry stick noodles, which are soaking right now. And then 8 cups of water, but if you can use stock, but I'm using better than bouillon, 3 tablespoons of it, which it is right here. Then we're also going to use 3 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, then 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, which is right here, and then 2 tablespoons of fresh ground pepper right here, teaspoons of fresh ground pepper. I'm sorry, 2 teaspoons of fresh ground pepper, or you could use more if you wanted to. 1 teaspoon of, a nice teaspoon of the 5 spice, and then we're going to use the grated ginger, and that is 2 teaspoons of grated ginger. And that's what you can do. It's easy to do. Then, because some people don't like bean sprouts, they don't in my family, so we're not going to use it. That's optional. So you can use, in my original recipe, it calls for bean sprouts. You want to have 2 limes, which we're going to use later. And I'm going to use a wonderful poblano pepper instead of a jalapeno pepper. And because these are milder than jalapenos. And teriyaki sauce for serving, a handful of fresh cilantro leaves that I'm going to chop up, and fresh mint leaves, which I'll chop up later when we serve everything. So the next thing we do is we're preparing the rice noodles according to the directions, which I'm doing. Once the clock goes off, I will drain them and put them into boiling water. And I'll do that for 1 to 2 minutes. So the next thing we'll do is for the soup, we're going to, and I've already put 8 cups of water into this pan right here, which I'm going to bring over here, and we're going to put all these ingredients in it, right? And you don't have to boil the water first. You can boil it all together because you're going to bring all those aromatic flavors and spices together in this. So the first thing I'm going to do, believe it or not, is I'm going to do mushrooms in mine since I'm not doing some of the other ones. And I will put this in almost last because it doesn't take long for mushrooms, as you know, to cook. So, and that's going to substitute some of the other stuff. You can put whatever you want in this, which makes it nice. It's a beef and noodle soup. That's basically what it is. And it's very tasty because it has all these wonderful spices in it, you know, that you may not be used to. But I'll tell you what, once you taste it, you'll love it. I think the 5 spices has something to do with it too. So we're going to mix all this together. And in just a second, I'm going to do 4. And then I'm going to add some carrots, some chopped carrots to it later on because I like them. But for other people in our family, I'm not. But I need actually a 1/4 of an onion or 1 onion chopped. So this is a pretty big onion. So what I'm going to do with this actually is I'm going to cut it in half, and this is a pretty big onion. So let's do that next. So, right. And here we go. This is, believe it or not, it is a sweet onion. My husband absolutely loves these onions, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to do this. Actually, because that core of the onion I'm not going to use. So this is an easy way to do it. It's a tough onion. So anyhow, we tried this last night and it was delicious. So I think you're going to really enjoy it. Your family will too. If your family likes anything Asian, you'll like it. And you can actually, with Raaker, you can make it hotter. So anyhow, here we go. I'm going to chop those up even finer in a minute. So, but these are part of the soup, so you don't want to put them in your food processor and make them look like they don't even have onions in them. But it looks really good when it all comes out. That's good. Let's push this aside and take these off, and see, then there'll be another onion here, which makes it nice. Okay, I can use that for something else, right? So let's do this. And sometimes you cry when you do these kind of onions. These are sweet Vidalia onions, which it's a yellow onion, but it's very nice. I know you're going to like it. So all this is going to go into the base of the soup. So if you want to send your recipes in, you can. If you want to make them lighter, we'd love to have them. So just send them to kraaker123@aol.com, and we'll create a new recipe, a lighter recipe, because a lot of people are trying right now, because it's the end of spring and the beginning of summer starts pretty soon. So you want to get into shape, or if you don't want to get into shape, it's still a great way to eat lighter. So my goal is another 10 pounds, and I will be really happy. I think everybody that wants to feel better and live longer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in all of my wonderful spices in here. And this is the ginger. And, oh, does that smell good? Oh my goodness, does that smell good? And then the 5 spice. There it is. That goes in there. And then the pepper. There you go. And in a minute I'll show it with the thing as soon as I get all these in there. And then here is, and this is what the bouillon is. And it absolutely is, I use it for everything. It's just delicious. It makes any soup or recipe, I think, taste better and easy to use. So we're almost done with that. All right, that's that. Put that there. And then this is the hoisin sauce. And if you have never tasted hoisin, it's really good. But I love Asian food because we lived in Singapore for a while and I loved it there. And then here's the fish sauce. So it's all going to be combined in here. And I'll show you this in a second. And then we're going to take the onions and put those in. And I'm going to get my mushrooms and put those in. You could add a little bit of more water into this if you want to, which I will. Because you're going to let this, the poblano pepper doesn't go in yet. That's extra. If you want the poblano pepper, that's another spice that you're going to use for it. So, and then I'm going to add a little bit more water to this and I'm going to put it on the stove. But wait a minute, let me check to see if I need to put anything else in here. The ginger, the pepper, yeah, so we're going to chop up the cilantro for later. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back on The Chef You and I. We're back on The Chef You and I, and now we're going to cut our beef into small strips or small pieces because we're going to actually put this in the pho. And so you really want thin pieces. So trying to get these, and I'll cut them in half again in a minute. Here we go. So thin pieces and not a lot of fat on them at all. There, so thin. So we'll put this over here. So I'm going to cut this up. So you can use flank, you can use whatever you want. And This is really tender steak, by the way, so I'm not using anything like flank. But if you did, you cut it on the grain. And we use this steak. I actually got this very cost effective. 2 of these for $8.95. I thought that was pretty good. And so we are going to just brown this a little bit, not much. But, you know, if you're using a very, very thin steak, I mean thinner than this, what you want to do is just pour hot water over it and it cooks it really fast because you're going to put it into the faux. So, but there we go. You could do chicken faux, you can do turkey faux, you can do shrimp faux, but we're doing beef. And this is like 1 steak, and it fed 2 people last night, and I could have made it 3 or 4 because you're going to add the noodles to it, but you don't want to use any more than 4 ounces of noodles. Now see, that's a little bit, it's got a lot of fat on it, so I want to get rid of that fat. All right. Okay, and there's more there because you can't chew that very easily. So, all right, there's a nice piece right there. Cut that off. Cut the strings off there. Okay, now what we want to do is cut this even thinner. And that right there is a little tough, to say the least. I don't want that. Okay. And actually, you could put this into the soup. You don't have to fry this. You can put it in directly into the soup. So I'm going to cook that soup for about 25 minutes, actually. So by the time we get done with the salad, right, we will be ready to serve everything. So you're going to really enjoy this. This is really a good one. Now, we're not doing our 4th of July show quite yet. This is for our June show, or maybe 2 shows, one show in June. I may do another international one as well that I know how to make really well. So this is my first attempt at this. And I got to tell you, after last night, I was really pleased with what it tasted like and how easy it was to do. So I like to cut the meat up pretty fine so you don't have to worry about it. There we go. And believe it or not, this goes a long way because you've got other vegetables in it and it's really good. You could add carrots to it or any other thing, and a poblano pepper if you want, or a jalapeno. You know, make it as hot as you like it. Okay, so there we go. And that's not going to make it. So I'm just going to brown this meat a little bit with salt and pepper, and I'll be right back, and then we'll put it into the soup. Okay? We're back on the Chef You and I, and we're going to make the salad dressing, which is Grandpa Benihana's ginger dressing. And I got this up on one of the sites because I wanted to make it taste just like that. But for this Asian, this is just usually for iceberg lettuce, and that's how they make it. But since I'm allergic to iceberg lettuce and I can't eat it, we're not making it with iceberg lettuce. So here are the ingredients for the dressing for the Asian salad. For the dressing, 1/4 cup of celery chopped, which we're going to do right now. And I'm actually going to use cucumbers in this, believe it or not. I'm changing the dressing just a little bit. So we want to do, this is really one big celery stalk. And you're going to put this into the food processor, and we're going to do that. All right. So this should be just enough, okay? And then we're going to we're going to have a carrot. So we're cutting up the carrot, right? That's 1 medium carrot. So all of this together is such a light meal in a sense, you wouldn't believe it, because the rice noodles are hardly any calories at all. So everything is almost ready to go, and we're going to show you everything how it's done. So this, and then I have to put the onion in. So all of this will go into this thing right here. And we're going to put this in there. We're going to chop all that up, right? And you couldn't believe that all of this could be in a dressing, right? I didn't think so until I read the directions for it. So the next thing you're going to do is actually, you're going to add all of the other ingredients, which I have right here. But I want to do this first. I want to do this first part of it. And I never get this thing right, but I think, no, not right. So I'm going to have my producer help me get it on, Mr. William. He always does it right for me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grind this up, and then we're going to add all those other ingredients to it. And believe it or not, we're going to even put tomato paste in it. So here goes. Now I'm going to add all the liquid ingredients, and then it'll become smoother, okay? So we're going to take it off like that, right? Then I'll add in all of the other ingredients. The ginger root, the water, the soy sauce, the actual vinegar, the sugar, the salt, and we haven't done the avocado oil yet, so I need 1/4 of a cup of olive oil, and I need to measure that, and tomato paste. So hold on a second. Let's see. Here we go. That is, I need 1/4, so that's half of this. So that is the, what did I say it was? Oh, the avocado oil. I forgot. The avocado oil. So we're going to add that. Oh, and lemon juice I got to put in as well. Hold on. That's half of that. That's 1/4 cup. Okay. And that's a lighter, that's an actually lighter oil. And if you want to stay healthy, that's a great way to do it. And then you want, the lemon juice is 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Well, that works out perfectly. It's about 1/4 cup. Okay, that, and a little bit more of that. I didn't get it all in there. And then we've got these done. And then we need to put in the tomato paste. And that is a tablespoon of tomato sauce, or tomato paste. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. So, here's a tablespoon. And I really like this because look, instead of wasting, you know, you usually get a whole can, a small can of this. Isn't this perfect? I love it. So that goes in there. Put all that down. And here we go. Let's try it. So it goes like this. Okay, come on. I don't know why I have a hard time doing that. Okay, now we're going to pour it on. Now we're going to look and see what it looks like, and hopefully it tastes just like I think it's going to. And I'm going to pour this into this. And you can save this, which makes it really nice. It's kind of, I'm not sure if this is quite done yet. Let's do it some more, because it's not as crushed up as I need it to be. So, yeah. Wow, I got it. We're back on the Chef You and I, and everything is finished. I'm really excited about the way it all turned out. We're going to show you how you actually put the whole thing together. And that is, we're going to take the noodles that we've done, and this is what they look like. They're really white. They're beautiful, actually. You can see these. This is what they should look like. And it doesn't take long to learn how to do this. Okay, I think that's enough. My husband doesn't like a lot of noodles. So that's it. Now, what we're doing, and we're going to come over here, and we're actually going to put some of the meat and onions and stuff on top of it. There we go. There's the meat. And then I'm going to actually put the liquid into it. Okay. So let me do this. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put the liquid on top of it, because I've already done most of everything else. And then a little bit more. And there's what it looks like. So we're going to do, then, now if you want, and you are a cilantro kind of person like Kathryn is, right, you will put some cilantro leaves in, right, like that. It's really good. And if you want it hotter, you can actually, what you can do is you can put some Raaker in there. And I'm going to put some, now these are not jalapenos. These are poblano, right? Put those there. And isn't that beautiful? That turned out really nice. You could put other peppers in there if you wanted to, but I kind of like a lot of green. So there you have it. That's mine. And then I'll do the other one a little different, okay? So that's that one. And we're going to do the same thing on this one that I just did on the other one. Except I'm not going to put cilantro in it because my husband doesn't like cilantro. I mean, each person is different. You can use lots of different things with this. And the meat came out just beautiful. And I added carrots to it, so it turned out really nice. And onions. And then what I'll do is I'll put this on top of it again. And there you have a meal. Very easy meal. Not hard at all. And I think even for company, it's really nice. So here you go. Here's the, I'm going to add the poblanos to this because I don't think he minds that. So we'll just cut those up real quick and put those on to give it a little bit more color, right? And look at that. Right, just beautiful. So there you go. Here's the salad. Let me do this. I'm going to move this out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually put, you're going to see the salad dressing now. Here's the dressing. And it turned out beautiful. So I'm going to pour that onto the dressing, or onto the salad. And this is what it looks like when you get it at Benihana's. And this usually they use iceberg, but I'm not crazy about iceberg. And this is really a delicious, delicious form of a great meal. I'm going to move this out of the way. And you can either use chopsticks. Hold on. Let's clean this up a little because we're going to take pictures and put it up on the website. You can either use chopsticks on this, like this. We can put that there. Or you can use a spoon or a fork. So there you go. A great, delicious meal that you'll love. And then here is the dessert. It is a mango tapioca, pearl tapioca dessert with mango on the top. And then you could put milk, or you could do ice cream or anything else on top of it. But light, delicious, healthy meal. And we want to thank, the recipes are from online. You'll be able to get them on the Chef You and I. And we give you all the ingredients and where to get it. And we want to thank everyone that we work with here on the Chef You and I. Thank you so much for joining me today on Kathryn Raaker's The Chef You and I.
Thanks for joining us on the Chef You and I show today. We'll be back next week with another great and healthy recipe. Don't forget to visit our website, thechefyouandi.com, for all of our featured recipes, cooking tips, and clips of the show.